Just to say that at the Abuja end, we have Adair Malis waiting. In the course of the evening, we'll reach out to him. Okay then, I just talked about Mr. President's address. He says everybody must join hands to help this country at 61. He addressed the nation on account of the 61st anniversary of independence. And so in his near three-quarter-hour broadcast, the #1 citizen ruminated over the country since after the bloody civil war and submitted that the last 18 months have been the most difficult in the checkered annals of the country. He recalled the tireless efforts of our founding fathers that culminated in our independence on October 1st, 1960. He called on all Nigerians to come together, as I just said, to achieve peace and prosperity. But let's hear from the president first before the discussion. By the way, today we are looking at Nigeria at 61. Now, watch this.
Fellow Nigerians, the first 18 months have been some of the most difficult periods in the history of Nigeria. Since the Civil War, I doubt whether we have seen a period of more heightened challenges than what we have witnessed in this period. As our economy continues to open after COVID-19 related lockdowns, we have also seen the resurgence of insecurity in certain parts of the country. In the last 4 months, the gallant men and women of the military and security agencies have made tremendous progress in addressing these new security challenges. We are taking the fight to our enemies from all angles, and we are winning. Earlier this year, I launched the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, the Deep Blue Project, which is designed to secure Nigerian waters up to the Gulf of Guinea. I am happy to inform Nigerians that we have taken delivery of key assets for this project, and very soon its impact will be felt. In the northeast region alone, over 8,000 Boko Haram terrorists have surrendered. To support our surge approach to fighting banditry, the Nigerian Armed Forces have recruited over 17,000 personnel across all ranks. Furthermore, I have also approved for the Nigerian Police Force to recruit 10,000 police officers annually over the next 6 years. I am also pleased to note that most of the Air Force platforms we acquired over the past 3 years have started to arrive in Nigeria. These will positively impact on security operation in all parts of the country. In line with Section 14, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the security and welfare of Nigerians continue to be the prime focus on which programs and projects of our government revolves. Therefore, as a government, we are ready to arrest and prosecute all persons inciting violence through words or action. Our resolve for a peaceful, united, and one Nigeria remains resolute and unwavering. That said, our hope is not to fight for peace. We can always settle our grievances peacefully without spilling any blood. We shall continue to work on dialogue-based solutions to address legitimate grievances. But we remain ready to take decisive actions against secessionist agitators and their sponsors who threaten our national security. The recent arrests of Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Adeyemo and the ongoing investigations being conducted have revealed certain high-profile financiers behind these individuals. We are vigorously pursuing these financiers, including one identified as a serving member of the National Assembly.
Jide, how do you assess the speech?
Well, just consistent with the pattern of presidential speeches we've listened to since the Buhari years began. Heavy on the achievements of the government and offering so little by way of the most pressing problems facing our country and how those problems will be solved. Surprised that the president didn't think that he needed to put accent on rising food prices in our country, the hunger that is really stalking our people, the free fall of the naira, for example, that is impacting on virtually everything, that is worsening poverty in our country. The president talked about his determination to continue to depopulate the kingdom of poverty. But
okay.
Yes.
I see what you mean, yeah.
He's saying that the next 10 years, a huge number of people will be brought out of poverty. But the speech does not tell us the number of people that are already been out of poverty under this dispensation and the people who have been plunged into poverty within the dispensation. So there's because there's no way, given how prices of food items are going up in our country, that more and more of our people won't be plunged into poverty.
You know, at a time like this, Jide, we cannot but talk about speech writers for Mr. President.
Yes.
He can't remember anything.
Yes, but no. He must have been told that the naira now exchanges for 575 to $1. That was the rate yesterday. He must have been told. There's no way he won't know that. And he will know that that will impact heavily on so many that it will have a massive ricochet effect on so many things, on the economy.
One crazy rule.
And he probably will have heard that the CBN governor lampooned the Nigerian who publishes FX rates online and made it look like the moment that guy was dealt with, that the naira value will go up tremendously. That same man has stopped publishing. But even after he stopped publishing, the naira continued to slide. There's no way the president will know that.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Martins, the president talked about 18 months, the last 18 months being the most challenging for his for the country, especially in our country's history. You agree with him?
Well, it's been more challenging, you know, this kind of speech to mark this 61st anniversary. As it is done, you know, you won't expect the president to come and be blaming himself or blaming his government. No matter what you say about speech writers, the speech writers should reflect the dreams, the vision, and what the president has been doing. So the speech writers are not on their own. They can't write fiction. They have to write on what they are talking about. Just as Jide said, you know, sometimes on a day like this, even if you read the one that Baka Tafawa Balewa read in 1960. You see the man called the golden voice of Africa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see some dreams, philosophy, and all those things, and so many speeches that we have been hearing. And I think
Martin's demand was a teacher.
You know, well, definitely a teacher, but you know, we have had even people who have had even better education, and even around the president, even in the country, there are ways. So all of these things are done. You know, talking and blaming people in a speech like that about, oh, they will have high food prices because of a middleman. You know, how do you want me at this stage to believe that it's because of middlemen, as Jide would feel that you know why food prices, how many times have it been discussed here? Why food prices are high? Are they producing food in the northeast, in northwest now? Are they producing food even in southwest and southeast the way we have been producing food? Do people feel that they are safe? Why should you? And I have a record of how this same president blamed middlemen in his first coming as head of state. Why will we continue to blame middlemen? What are middlemen? This is a question of supply and demand. Are we supplying enough? We are not supplying enough. So we would have expected this kind of speech to even to get to the root of certain things. This is not the age of propaganda anymore. Facts in this age are sacred. And people, even your own children, if you start doing PR for agencies and the government, your own children say that's not correct. Because
there are many tools of verifying.
So many tools. Before your children will say, no, Daddy, this is it. This is the exchange rate. These are the reasons these things are happening. We feel that they should raise hope. They should give us some glimmer of hope about what is supposed to happen in Nigeria, what is happening now, appealing to people to calm down. And some of those reasons like this, there are people who could have written something to raise hope, to say, this is it. Well, this particular one, blame game, achievement of this. You don't need to even talk about this to Kano, so many of those things like that. Some of those things are done secretly when they acquire them. But to be talking about them like that, and so many of all those things, well, definitely, we won't say that nothing has happened. We've seen some of these things that he's talking about, this railway here, railway there. But it is still like a Dutch journalist, what we call Femke, said. Sometimes in this age, in this part of the world where they are looking up to us as the leader of Africa, leader of the black race, we still celebrate mediocrity.
Okay. Time to turn things over to Ali in faraway Abuja. Ali, good evening to you. Happy holiday. Are you there? Yeah, Ali, are we in business? Good evening to you, a happy holiday. All right.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I can.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Welcome. Yeah. So we are
it's
looking
good to be here again, Jide.
Welcome.
And the rest of the crew.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy holiday.
Same to you.
So the #1 citizen has addressed the country. How do you react?
Well, this speech to me is an anticlimax, if you like. Well, he gave an overview of what has happened in his own words, especially in the last 18 months, and the effort the government has made to rise to the occasion of the myriad of challenges facing the nation, especially insecurity, which has bedeviled the nation and which has clearly overwhelmed the nation. And also those who are supportive of some separatist element, like Nnamdi Kanu, like Sunday Igboho. But unfortunately to me, the way I say, it's an anticlimax. The major problem of the country beyond insecurity is that of the economy. The president has been remarkably silent on an important day like this, because more than anything else, the economy is the determinant. But of any other thing. Politics, and perhaps also responsible largely for the raging insecurity we have nationwide. We have a lot of unemployment, joblessness nationwide, graduate unemployment, youth unemployment, notwithstanding some of the programs the government has evolved to address this. And he did broach on the issue of N-Power and how he has raised beneficiaries from 500,000 to 1 million. But all this come together, all this pulled together would appear insignificant against what Nigerians generally are feeling. The economy is at its all-time low, like Jide pointed out. It's incredible that the Naira exchanges, a dollar exchange for almost 600 Naira to the dollar. This same president, when he was military head of state, he wouldn't devalue the nation's currency to just 3 Naira to the dollar and evolve counter trade. But so many years later, his economic team has failed to think outside the box. The economy is on a free fall, while politics of the nation, generally speaking now, politics is being heavily regulated. Every day we talk about politics, about 2023. Nobody seems to give concern about the increasing devaluation of the nation's currency. And this is where I think the speech has not really addressed on that. But you see, you also have to judge this speech against the backdrop of how the APC government was elected into office in the first place. In 2014, the APC promised to fight corruption, unemployment, and insecurity. Some would say 6 years down the road, what is the report card? Yes, the government has taken steps, like the president said, to boost the inadequacy in the number of security personnel, like the police, mainly involved in internal security, the armed forces, but also rearming and retooling the Nigerian armed forces. If you look at the Nigerian armed forces, their military hardware, all of them, all the three arms, Navy, the Air Force, and the Army, has been atrophy, really. They have decayed over the years.
Thank you, Ali.
Suddenly we realized that with insurgency in the northeast and banditry in the northwest and general insecurity nationwide, in the north central there's similar insecurity, banditry, which some people have called rightfully so, that they should be rechristened terrorists, not bandits, because bandits is mild compared to what these bandits, their capacity now. Bandits who have the capacity to down a military jet, they are not ordinary bandits. But then what's in your name? When you christen them terrorists, do the government, and by extension, well, the Nigerian military, the government have the capacity to walk the talk? Because it's important, not just rechristening the bandits, terrorists. Do you have the balls to walk that talk? Because it's important now, when you rechristen bandits, like we rechristen separatist elements, like IPOB, we rechristen them as a terrorist group. But look at the Southeast now. Have we been able to calm and to tame the monster that is eating up Southeast? Have we done that? Has the government really walked that talk? Beyond, it has to be a twin-pronged approach. The carrot and the stick.
We shall get
How
back
much
to
of
you.
engagement has been done? Most of the crises in the nation, I think, can be resolved at the political level. Engagement, greater communication.
Ali will get back to you. Thank you very kindly for your time. Except that you don't look 61. You are younger than 61.
Then. I never told you it was 61.
No. I'm looking at Nigeria at 61. Everything must be 61. Okay. Jide, let's talk seriously now. Mr. President says Twitter will be back. And so you are wondering how Nigerians are going to take. So I'm wondering, how you think Nigerians will take the news?
That will make many people happy. But the truth also is the government has lost a lot of money during that period. Twitter has lost money, government has lost money. And
almost everybody.
Yes, a lot of people who made Twitter the centerpiece of their business, they've also lost money. So many Nigerians will be happy if that suspension is lifted, although a good number of Nigerians have defied the suspension and they've been on Twitter, even from the day the suspension was handed down. And you recall that the Attorney General was sued over this matter, and he went to court to say, no, that it didn't stop Nigerians from using it, and Nigerians have been using it, which is true. Some of the most influential people on Twitter that I know, they never left Twitter for 1 minute.
So why the hue and cry?
Yeah, because it's easy to bypass it. With your VPN, you bypass it.
Okay.
The only reason some people didn't feel like going that route is because you could also be snookered by fraudsters.
Okay, yeah.
If you are not careful. But
a
lot of people have been on Twitter since then. They've not missed Twitter for 1 day, you know. And a lot of agitations, even some of the some people have been mobilizing one another, even through it. So for a lot of people, it's not really a big deal. If government doesn't let Twitter return, they are still on Twitter, you know. They are still on Twitter. A lot of the, what do you call them, these influencers and the rest of them, they've been there since then. So, but many people still have not been on Twitter, but they'll be happy to return when the suspension is lifted, and government too will begin to make money
again.
Through Twitter. So it's a two-way thing, and I know that some of those conditions, once they are met, the government will be happy, but I doubt if all of the conditions can be met.
Okay, but even so, we trust that whatever led to the suspension would be avoided by all and sundry.
Since we are having these talks between both groups, it is believed that some level of unanimity will be achieved, and lessons will have been learned.
Okay.
Lessons will have been
even
learned.
if the hard way.
Yeah. The important thing is that lessons will have been learned in this whole matter.
Yeah, Martins, you know, Senate President, the number 3 man in the country, is saying that unity, faith in the country are things we need at this time. And former President Jonathan says we have what it takes to overcome travails today. And you agree with them?
Well, definitely I agree with them. But the thing I don't understand about them is that they don't walk their talk. All these our leaders don't walk their talk. They like their front page photographs. They like their front page headlines. They want to hit the headlines.
They like the click likes.
Yeah, but they don't do what they say. How have they been trying to ensure that they influence the presidency, for instance, or the ruling party, to ensure that there is equity, there is fairness, there is this, there is that? Because it's so easy, even as the president claimed, they are appealing to people to say that, oh, we need unity, we need to. Definitely, if we want to canvass here now, we will say the first job of the next president in 2023 is rebuilding Nigeria, because we are so divided now. We are so divided. So we need a character, we need a leader who can be believed, who will emerge and say, look, let us forget the past. Let's forget about lamentation. Let's forget about rhetorics. Let's do something about unity of this country. Let us respect federal character in appointment of people. The other day, I looked at this thing, look at how they are leading us. I was watching an event. I saw the Inspector General of Police, the Minister of Police Affairs, the Chairman of Police Trust Fund, the Secretary of Police Trust Fund, they are from the same section of the country. That you can say whatever you want to say after this act, the people will not believe you. They won't believe. So we need a leader in the next dispensation, apart from other appointments, that will respect federal character. Because federal character is the basis for what people are saying now. Federal character in the Constitution, that has been in the Constitution since 1979. Yeah. That is the basis for all this power sharing or rotation that they are talking about. Yeah. The spirit of the law, not the letter. The spirit of the law.
Important.
Yes, it's very important. That our founding fathers, the people who wrote this Constitution for us, know that that is what you need to implement to cement unity.
Keep us as one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that then political parties will use the spirit of that law to say that let us rotate the presidency, governorship, local government chairman, because the federal character principle, if you read the letters, it's not only about federal appointments, also in the state and local government. Yes. So our leaders should be conscious of their act. This is a delicate federation. It's a delicate diversity that any leader can manage. That when you are making an appointment, I have covered this thing for more than 3 decades. Leaders are always conscious. Where do the service chiefs come from? Where do the police chiefs come from? Where do the intelligence officers come from? If we are making appointments of this and that, are we balancing? So this appointment thing, we may be silent about it because of so many constraints. But
we are not even silent.
It's a serious matter, my brother.
Okay.
Federal character must be respected before you can.
No, I mean, if it was in the Constitution, and we can see it, Section 14. Section 14 of the Constitution. Section 14 of Section 3.
Yes.
You know, brings out in bold relief what you are talking about.
Yes.
So if it was there is a reason for which it was put there. So it has to be
respected. So if you don't respect
and if we set up in the aftermath of the Civil War, if we set up unity schools as one of the reasons, one of the ways by which we can bring everybody together, one fold, let everyone see that yes, this nation belongs to them. Then we must constantly take steps that encourage everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Steps that will encourage everyone to see Nigeria as his project.
As project.
If we don't do that, if we take steps that turn our diversity that ought to be our strength to our albatross, then it will be too bad.
Let me add this. You know, in a serious polity, if not for the way we are, breaching that section of the Constitution is a condition to begin impeachment.
Okay.
Breaching that section of the Constitution because it's a sensitive thing.
Okay. I think it's time. Let's go back to Abuja. By the way, Ali Aman in Abuja is the editor-in-chief of the People's Daily, circulating in Abuja. Ali, are you there? Let's look at the ruling party. It says that our independence provides a strong source of unity, strength, but the PDP, the opposition, is bemoaning the rising insecurity, economic stress, and others under this presidency.
Well, you see, Nigeria's diversity, like my colleagues, all of us on the panel have said, has been, should have been a source of strength to all of us. But unfortunately, like most other issues, we instead of working to build on that diversity and look at the advantages it confers on every Nigerian, we normally tend to look at it from a very negative perspective. Now, coming back to the issue of the ruling party saying our independence has been a source of
unity and strength,
and the opposition kicking naturally. What we are witnessing in contemporary times in Nigeria is a net result of the years of sustained assault on our national unity. let me just take us back to post-Civil War. Under Gawan, the Gawan administration took concrete steps towards nation building. Immediately after this civil war, you know, the 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and I'm trying to recall the other R's.
Reconstruction.
Yes.
Reconstruction.
And then there was a conscious effort to build a nation, notwithstanding our diversity. I am a product of integration. My generation, just like most of the panelists there, all of us here, we are products of integration. We went to the unity colleges, we went through the NYSC, we've worked nationwide, north, south, east, west. So my generation is absolutely inexcusable for us to find the embers of disunity or dismemberment. But that may not be so with those who are still superintending over the labors of power. Politicians generally, and especially in Africa, they always hammer on the differences, much like what the colonial master did to divide and to rule. But you see, it was convenient in the past to blame the colonial master. 61 years down the road, what steps have we taken? Martins just listed how we've breached federal character principle. Now, this is something that we have, some of us have kicked, that especially in crucial institutions that have to do with the nation's security and unity. When people don't see themselves at the highest level of the nation's security apparatus, they will kick. But if you go down to federal agency parastatals, if you make any rigorous inquisition, you will find out that the reflection, federal character is being breached severely. And unfortunately, some people think that federal character principle means compromising quality. No, I don't think so. If you don't meet certain criteria, you're not fit to be there. But for equity, if you don't see yourself in the system, you won't have kinship with that system.
Yeah.
Now, what did the First Republic politicians do differently? That even before independence, they saw a Fulani man in Enugu in 1956 being elected mayor of Enugu. What did they do differently? How did the NCNC, if you go back to history, struck an alliance with the MPC to form a federal government? How did the MPN in 1979 form an alliance that saw the emergence of a speaker of the House of Representatives from a minority party?
Coming from the NPP,
was from the MPP.
Yeah.
And how did Ikweme, a Southeasterner who lost a senatorial election in 1979, became Shagari's deputy? What happened? You know, but then you look at our politicians now, present-day Nigerian politicians, the idea of winner takes all. And unfortunately, the action of the APC government has not fostered the national unity we thought we would have, beginning with the president himself.
And national unity, if you recall, you don't legislate.
I must say this. If you recall, the first time he said, look, those who voted him massively will be treated differently from those who voted him the least. That, to me, was the beginning of further polarizing people along the fault lines.
Ali, thank you very kindly. Ali, thank you very, very kindly. But stay there, don't go away. Let me go to Jide now. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is saying this disunity in Nigeria is worrisome, and so we're divided.
Yes.
You agree with him?
That he said that he is deeply concerned about the level of disunity in our country. Anyone who truly loves Nigeria should be concerned. These days, there is hardly any issue about which Nigerians don't fall into their ethnic and religious cocoons. You know, every issue. Look at this cup. This cup is white and blue. Nigerians will not look at it as white and blue based on their religious and ethnic differences.
Yeah, yeah.
It is such a terrible thing, and it's getting worse. The other day, the Super Cup, Abba Kyari had an issue for which he's been investigated. Some people came up to say, no, this Abba Kyari is one of us, is a Northerner, therefore we are not going to, nothing must happen to him. This was purely a criminal matter being investigated. Why should we bring an ethnic...
And they forget that sometimes bad things happen to supposed good people.
Yes. It's not as if he's been declared guilty, pronounced guilty. It's just been investigated. And you're saying nothing must happen to him. Suddenly, this is a man who has cracked crimes both in the north and the south. He's a Nigerian hero up till the time that
thing
didn't happen to him.
Yeah.
He's seen as a Nigerian hero. He received awards across our country. He didn't receive awards in northern Nigeria alone. But the moment he had that problem, people started seeing this as purely a religious issue or an ethnic issue. It's so shameful, the level to which we have sunk.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So if an article says this, I will not blame him. Was it not in this same country that we chose to elect a Muslim ticket?
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter to us.
Did anybody remember?
Nobody was asking questions. Muslim, we elected in this country overwhelmingly. Was it also in this country?
In the United States of America, father and son became presidents. Yes. Did it matter to them?
In this same country, Gawan was Christian, his number 2 man was Christian.
Yeah.
In this same country. Nobody quarreled about that. Today, nobody can try that. So this is we must go back to brass tacks. We must go back to the way we used to be. The politicians who are dividing us and calling themselves leaders, they are not actually leaders, they are rulers.
Rulers, yeah.
We've got to let them know that they are pushing Nigeria to the edge of a cliff. It is our duty to make sure that they don't eventually push Nigeria down
over the cliff.
Yes.
Martins, former number 3 man, Senator David Mark, wants us to bury all prejudices so as to save this country. And you are asking, would the politicians, as he has said, listen, are they interested in anything outside of power?
They are not interested in anything outside of power. Right now, that was why when even some leaders met in Kaduna recently, even the citizens were wondering, the urgent thing about insecurity didn't matter to them more than VAT. And the
politics of 2023.
Politics of 2023. And you will see what is happening in Kaduna, what is happening in Zamfara, Sokoto, and all those things like that their citizens expected them to address and assure them what they were doing about it.
Are you not alarmed that in 2021, our politicians have forgotten nothing?
No, definitely.
They've learned nothing, and so on.
And that is why right now, they are looking for money. They don't care about the debt burden. They don't care about what is not happening. They don't care to ask. The job of the National Assembly, for instance, journalism and some other bodies to ask questions about, the bodies are there to ask questions and to get people to account and all those things. But these, our politicians, do not want organization. They don't want anybody to ask questions. They don't want anybody to say anything that will prevent them from winning the next election. They are talking about next election, not generation,
for them, democracy,
not how to build.
Democracy, for them, democracy simply means elections and more elections. Yeah.
I traveled around the east and southwest in the last 1 month, and I actually wept. After 22 years of democracy, Getting into Ibadan was a difficulty, 2 hours. You will see Ibadan like this, you won't be able to get there. Federal roads. You cannot get from Lagos to Abeokuta easily. I went to the east to get from Owerri to Enugu, to get from even Enugu to Oka. How are you going to get there?
Martins,
one would have expected politicians to be addressing this. These are primary things.
Martins and Dide, you know, if
it
the
is
Lagos,
not, it's not more primary than their elections.
Oh yeah.
It is not more.
It is, so let me say this: if the Lagos-Ibadan road, which is perhaps arguably the busiest road in West Africa, was fixed in 1999,
yes,
we wouldn't be bothering ourselves over that.
No road from Ibadan to Osogbo. None from Ado-Ekiti to Akure. They carved out Ado-Ekiti from Akure.
And let me tease you a little. Aba should have been the Japan of Africa.
Yes, it has the potential.
Yes.
I spoke with a retired DIG friend, and he said, just see me, that is stay at home every Monday. Now he have me in or Afodongo. And look at Aba, look at the roads there.
Look at
Nobody will tell me it is.
the
roads is not Buhari.
The filth, the waterlogged road and all that. Let's leave Aba alone, I beg.
I beg. And go to, let's leave Aba and go to
Abuja. Senator David Mark, he should collaborate with his people to walk their talk. They should do something. They should weep. They should feel. They should weep. They should feel something and say, look, unless you are angry about certain matter and start getting angry, even in your own office, in your family, unless you get angry about certain things and say, look, enough is enough. You children in this place, we are not going to do this thing again. They may take you for granted. All right, let's turn things over again to Ali in Abuja. Ali, the CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, is blaming the nation's woes on selfish leadership. You believe them or you believe CAN?
Well, of course, like Chinua Achebe said, Nigeria's problem is squarely that of leadership.
Yes,
no more, no less. And you look, we've been lamenting that politicians or rulers actually, and this is typical of all politicians, whether in Africa or elsewhere, but it's just that African politicians, and especially Nigerian politicians, they are not even aware of their self-enlightened interest. And that's why most of the time they throw away the bathwater along with the baby, or they kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Why I say so? Because all the time they are more concerned with clinging to power than bringing democratic dividends and assuage the feelings of those at the bottom of the social ladder. And contemporary Nigerian politicians, most of them are self-seeking and self-serving. So if Khan blames, and I'm glad Khan is blaming leaders, not their traditional sparring partners in the Jamaat Nasrul Islam or Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs. What confronts the nation is not religious. It's not even ethnic. If you go to the markets all over, you will see Nigerians conduct their business peacefully.
Yes.
But politicians who are in leadership position manipulate these fault lines because they want to cling on to power, clinging to power for power's sake. Now, let me quote the words of Ali Musri in Africa, A Triple Heritage, when he said, Nigeria under military rule inches towards dictatorship, and under democracy, it inches towards anarchy. Now, we have almost a situation that is an anarchy. Why you see politicians, you see leaders talking like street urchins, speaking with such admirable lack of caution, and regrettably not giving the right leadership. And then you have a section of the media celebrating people who all the time harp on our fault lines.
Oh yeah.
Celebrate the daring forays of bandits or insurgents, not celebrating the heroic role of either the armed forces or ordinary Nigerians who have helped to stem the tide of insecurity nationwide. For example, we all know of the heroic exploit of a certain imam in Plateau who saved a lot of non-Muslims in the wake of ethno-religious crisis. We've seen instances where Christian youth surrounded Muslim youth to conduct prayers.
That's it.
But we hardly promote that. What we are interested in is so number of people.
Ali, thank you very kindly. I think, Ali, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I think the new message from this point is telling the man at the pulpit and at the member to preach unity, and it starts from there. All right, see, and Jide, let me go to Martin's Ondo State. The governor, his governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, stressed the need to restructure the country in order to solve our security and economic problems.
Definitely.
You share the sentiments with
you
him?
know that even yesterday, we wrote the 49th edition of our editorial at The Guardian on restructuring as the answer after all. We are going.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get to 61 because Nigeria is 61.
Oh yeah.
So what you know is just saying the right thing. Because this unitary system of government, we had some conversation before we came in, unitary system of government that the military imposed since 1966.
Yeah.
So restructuring is not something we are looking for. We are seeking restoration of it because it was through restructuring, through regionalism, you see that Southwest at a time even was budgeting for education more than anything else.
Yeah.
And as a result of this, and it was through this regionalism, through restructuring at that time, I think they were practicing at that time, that University of Ife was established, Ahmadu Bello University was established, UNN was established. These universities were established by regional leaders. They were not federal universities, they were only since 1975.
Yeah.
So Akeredolu is saying the right thing. And then there's a message to the leaders of this country at all levels that they should not run away from it. Because what is happening now is this unitary system of government, where this feeding bottle federalism, where people go to Abuja every month to share money.
Yeah.
No, it can't happen like that.
All right.
Lagos can appear to be the third largest economy in Africa, even as a state in Nigeria, competing with if it is allowed to harness its own potential.
In fact, Jide, the same Governor Akeredolu, interestingly, Ondo State has the second largest deposit of bitumen on the planet.
Yes.
Yet we are still importing. That's for another day. But the same governor is saying we must admit errors of judgment, you know, as a way of moving forward for the country.
Yes.
They say if small pikin fall down, he go look forward. If big man like me fall down, I go look back.
Yes. That's the point, and there are the ways by which we can admit those errors is to take a second look at the Constitution, amend the portions of the Constitution that are holding us back, holding back the development of our nation.
Oh yeah.
Our nation can move faster than it's moving. So there are some portions of that Constitution that we need to amend. For example, the issue of even electricity generation. You can't say that anyone who generates electricity up to a certain megawatt must then feed it to the into the national grid, where they now decide what you get. You are the state that built the power plant. They will now, at the level of the national grid, they will now determine what you get. There are certain things.
The backroom boys.
So those are some of the errors that we need to admit. And once we admit and we amend the Constitution, allow for restructuring to take place, we will benefit.
At that point, all the prayers we've been saying since
saying we must have one police.
It's not possible.
We've got to decentralize our security architecture.
And-
there are mistakes that have been made.
Oh, yeah.
And as our country evolves and becomes greater, we need to make amendments.
All right. So we must go. Ali M. Ali in Abuja, we thank you very kindly for your time. You are 61 and grow with the country. We are also growing with the country. We're watching the country grow before our eyes. Thank you. And not to forget, Martin's here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Jide, Olayinka, one of our colleagues, I've forgotten his surname now.
Dr. Olayinka.
Yeah,
Oyegbile.
Adegbile is
Oyegbile.
one of our colleagues is a year older today. So he's 61.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Congrats, Doc. Grow with the country. We are watching both of you.
Adopt the age of the country.
Since
that is what he's trying to do to all
That's
of
what
us.
I'm saying, you know. At 61, we have asked all our questions. We must answer them. Thank you. I'm out of here. But don't forget to join us on Sunday for a 2-hour edition of the program. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I am Citizen Jones. Many thanks. See ya.